Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. My name is John with a silent H.
My name is Charissa with a C. Why are you
So
laughing?
I wasn't sure what you were going to say. So this is obviously a very special episode. Me and Charissa are doing it ourselves, and we ended up interviewing Rory Zambard. I think I said that correctly. Let me make sure. Yes, who is the CEO of the Keala Foundation. So we're actually here. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see we're somewhere different. We're in Kauai right now, and we just got done doing the Ultimate Hawaiian Trail Run, which is a trail run that is ran by the Keala Foundation, which is, I mean, we get into
It's a trail run that is a fundraiser to benefit the Keala Foundation.
Exactly. And we get into it, obviously, a lot in the podcast, but I just really wanted you guys to know that, like, this one is very close to my heart. And I really hope that you guys listen to the whole thing, and I really hope that you guys, consider helping the foundation out when you do finish the podcast, because it's a very, like I said, it's very near to my heart. They're helping out kids here that don't have anyone else to help them out, and they're doing it for free, right? The kids they don't have to pay anything. So I really hope that you guys are able to, again, listen to the whole thing, and even if you don't donate, hopefully it makes you feel good at least, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to say?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and see you guys next time. All right, Rory, thanks for coming on to the podcast with us. We're really excited to have you.
So excited.
This is a special one because it's mine and Charissa's first time just us two interviewing someone, I guess.
Well, I'm glad to be here for it.
So my brother is the other co-host, so it's me
Yeah.
and my brother normally. Obviously, he's not here, and I was like, bro, I'm taking all the podcast stuff, and you can't stop me.
She's a good replacement.
Yeah, she is. She's going to ask the good questions. I'm going to ask the stupid ones of, what's your max bench? Why do you need to know that?
Super important questions.
It really is.
Okay, so I just really wanted to get into it and hear about the foundation, about the Keala Foundation. Am I saying it right?
Nailed it.
Keala. Because I've heard some people say Keala.
I've heard a lot of variations.
Yeah.
Keela.
Okay. Keela.
Oh.
The Keala
Yeah, it makes
Foundation.
sense.
That sounds like a sort of tequila foundation.
Yeah, maybe. It's Keala.
Keala Foundation. So that's why me and Charissa are here. Ramwad brought us out very graciously
So cool.
to do the run, which we'll talk about as well. But I think more importantly, I want to talk about the foundation. One, how you got involved with it, and then two, just really what it is and the reason you guys do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got sucked in the best possible way.
I was thinking, I was sucked
got
in.
trapped.
please
Taken against your will.
Yeah.
Please help.
I know. I came out here in 2015 to run in the race. I was sponsored by Progenics at the time, and so I came as an athlete to just run and experience it because they were huge, and I mean they were founding sponsors of the event, and so I came just to do it. And I'd met Aaron Hoff, the founder of the run and the foundation, in passing a few times, CrossFit Games, wherever, and we just had a lot of mutual friends. And so I got to know him a little bit, and I came out for the event, and it was just like a rock just settled in my stomach. And I knew there was something about it. It really just piqued my interest. And Aaron's story of sobriety is my family's story. It's both sides of my family, as far back as you care to look. Are recovering addicts and alcoholics, and it's just in my DNA in a lot of ways. It's a part of who I am and my family's history, and so I understood the need, I understood the story, and I really was enamored with his heart of service and what he was doing for his community. And I ran in the race. It was great and horrible and fun, and
Same.
it's just a lot of mixed emotions while you're in the middle of the trail. But I came back to visit about 6 weeks after the run, and that's when I knew. I was here for a week, and I went to go get on an airplane to fly home, heard it clear as day, move here. And so then I did. A couple months later, I was here. I picked up everything. I was living in Seattle at the time and took out 5 boxes, moved over.
Jeez.
And it's just been, that was about 4 years ago. So it's just been crazy ever since.
So did you start with just volunteering for the foundation, or did you just immediately come here and start full-time working for the foundation?
Because you're the CEO now, right?
Yeah. Yes. When I got here, it was in its very grassroots, just developing stages, and so we were all volunteers at that point. Everybody was volunteering. There was no paid positions within the organization. It was all fully volunteer. So yes, I was volunteering, and yes, it was my only job. So
Yeah.
somehow I was really blessed. I work, have worked, still am working for CrossFit the company, teaching seminars, and so that's what allowed me to travel, teach, pay my bills, and then be here 100% of the time and volunteer initially for the foundation. So huge blessing to be able to do this all the time, but still be able to have something that allowed me to do both and live. So yeah, I mean, it grew certainly since then.
So what is, like, someone that might be listening that has no idea what the foundation is, what you guys do, can you kind of like explain that to maybe someone, you're talking to someone off the street, no idea what it is?
Yeah, well, our mission statement, the Keala Foundation's mission, is to build communities that support the youth of Hawaii. And our number one purpose is to combat the drug and alcohol and suicide epidemic in Hawaii. Hawaii has one of the highest rates of methamphetamine use with the lowest level of resources available to the community and one of the highest teen suicide rates in the nation, which are two very under-known facts because it's paradise. It's a vacation destination, and it does not increase tourism to know those things about this place. And so they're huge, hard facts to bear, but what we do is we create an environment, create a safe place and a space for kids to know they're loved, know they belong, to get fit, make meaningful relationships, healthy attachments to adults that will support them through the most formative and critical years of their life. Because whether or not you're here or somewhere else in the world, you're prey when you're in your teens to addiction, to drugs, to the sexy side of those things, because it is fun at first, right? And so no matter where you are in the world, there's that draw, that thing that'll pull you in. And here it's so small that's really super attractive. And then it just perpetuates. So what we do with the Keala Foundation is we use CrossFit, Jiu-Jitsu, and surfing as a platform to be able to create a space for kids. We have 3 different locations, CrossFit gyms, CrossFit Puepu, CrossFit Kekaha, and CrossFit Anahola, that have free classes for kids all the time. So we pick all our kids up from school in big 16 passenger vans. We drive them to the gym, we work out, we feed them, and then we drive them home to their individual houses every day. And so between our 3 locations, we have over 20 classes that are offered a week, and over 400 kids that participate in the program. So that's one element of it, but the really meaningful part, CrossFit is wonderful and you get fit, but that's just a byproduct of exercise, right? Is you come in and you get fit. What's really cool is teaching kids about perseverance and about camaraderie and about teamwork and about excellence and about integrity and about pursuing goals and about doing hard things. And that's such a cultural abnormality, is to do something difficult, not because it's hard, but because it's worth it. And so those are the big things that we get to do, is teach kids about that. And then through those things, it carries them through difficult decisions, difficult times, and when their friends all start to do other things, make poor choices, and inevitably when they do too, they'll have a network of people that love them, and they know they're safe.
Yeah, it really reminds me a lot of, like, there's a lot of parallels with how I grew up. So I went to this place called Youth Venture when I was growing up, when I was a kid. And for us, I like to call it like the Trojan horse. For you guys is like working out and fitness and coming to the gym. For Youth Venture, it was video games.
Yeah.
And like there was like a teen center that had like pool, and you had video games, and you could they had a skate park, right?
Yeah.
So like that was that's like what got people in. Because growing up, I had a really like a rough childhood as well. Like my mom was, she was a drug addict. We were taken away from her when we were really young. Luckily, we got put back with her because she actually went to a Christian rehabilitation center, right? And so we were put back with her, but just growing up, we didn't have much money. And so like the fact that Youth Venture was open after school, it was somewhere to go, right? Instead of a lot of the times, like things are happening after school when the parents aren't home yet, right? And so they had that place for us to go. And like, I mean, I had, compared to a lot of the kids, like I had a pretty good life because a lot of their parents were still drug addicts, right? And they're still struggling. Like the only time they ate was when they went to Youth Venture, and a lot of them would just like talk to leaders and try and get some sort of food there, And so it really reminds me a lot of that, And so I think that's why it's just like being invited here was really cool. And it's like, I've never been to Hawaii. Charissa's never been to Hawaii. We're like, that sounds really cool. And I've heard about the foundation. I was like, it sounds interesting, but I hadn't gotten into the thick of it, And so being here, and we've been really fortunate to be able to actually go to some of the kids' classes and, and play dodgeball with them. I got one
ruined
kid.
at dodgeball.
They're very good. Very good. They take it very seriously.
But you did hit a kid in the face.
I did. Well,
but you got to tell them, though, the rules are...
So the rules are if you get hit in the face, everyone on the other team gets back in because you should be paying attention.
Yeah, if you get hit in the face, it's your fault.
It's your fault. So I hit him in the face, and I felt so bad that I had to watch because he started crying, and like he was fine. I was like, "Are you all right?" He's like, "Yeah, it's just that shock, right?"
Yeah.
But it was like a heater, right? But the thing being there, like the kids, they were so open to being like, "Oh, hey, what's your name? Who are you?" And I think a big part of that is because, especially coming into these gyms, they know that they can trust you, right? When you brought us in, so they're like, well, I can trust these people too. And it's just like this really visceral like connection right away.
Yeah.
And like there was a lot of kids that I felt like really connected to really fast.
Yeah.
And so I just see that there's a huge impact that you guys are making, and I think it's just super cool.
Thank you. It is so special. This event, I mean, the trail run, bringing people here, is the highlight of our year, and our kids, we just really always pour out gratitude. We just try to express to them how essential gratitude is and being thankful for what you are given and gifted, and this is such a huge gift to us. I look around during this event and I make new friends every year, and I get to see my oldest, best, dearest friends every year. This CrossFit community is really small, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and the fitness community in general is you go places and you know people, and then this is an excuse for all us to be in one place. And so then we try to teach that to our kids, is that these people are coming here for you. They're coming here to know you, to see your hard work, and that sinks into them. And I think that they realize it in the heat of the moment, when you guys actually arrive, that they are so loved, they are so known, and that people care. They really care about them, and they want to see them succeed and thrive and just and be proud of their effort and their hard work. That's cool.
It really is such an awesome program because I've always, the school system is great. I definitely feel like the school system doesn't teach things like perseverance and integrity and like these healthy relationships, or even just like eating healthy and taking care of their physical bodies. So it's such an awesome program to be able to offer to the kids, to teach them at such a young age to invest in their health, to invest in healthy relationships, and to in such an informative year of their life, just pour into them to set them up for success.
I think you nailed it too, talking about it being right after school. Because it's that thing that bridges the gap, right? Trail Bowl is from like 2 to 5. Yeah. It's just that zone till mom gets home.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And that's it. As they leave school and they're learning things, but they don't learn the stuff that you take cracks for the rest of your life till you figure it out. When you're 25 and you're like, why did nobody teach me that?
Taxes?
Like what? I know. Yes.
What,
like how do
you
I
take money
shop?
from me again?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Like how do I grocery shop? Or what is protein?
How do I make a chicken? Like, am I allowed to make chicken medium rare? I don't know.
Uh-oh. But it's just so good. And it truly, like, there's so many cliches in life, but it truly takes a village to raise a child. And that you need aunties, uncles, mentors, friends, those people that run programs outside of your parents, outside of school, that are going to do the same thing. And then you hear it from somebody and it'll sink in, that message from me. Their mom's been telling them their whole life, and they hear it from me, and they're like, "Oh, but Rory said, so now I believe him," And
so
it just really takes a village, and many hands do make light work. And so the more people that can pour into kids and create a community where they're safe and they're learning stuff, then we're good to go. They're the next generation. They're our future, and I'd rather our future not be robbing cars and sleeping on the beach.
Yeah.
So
it was so cool in my group I had 13, 12, and 11. And I was telling them like, oh my gosh, like I wish that I had someone teaching me about fitness and health and pouring into me when I was your guys' age. I was like, look how hard you were working. I was like, I was not working this hard when I was 11, 12, 13. Like, oh my gosh, those were the farthest things from my mind when I was your age. Like, I'm so proud of you. And so like what you're doing is so awesome.
So special. They work harder than any adults I know. Like, it's truly a thing. Like, they blow me away. But it's part of the culture we've made. Doing hard things is cool here. they get praised for doing hard work.
Well, you were saying before when we were talking that like being a tryhard here is like the worst thing that you can be.
It's a negative.
Why is that? I would love to know more because it really intrigued me when you first said that.
You know, I don't know. It's definitely not a cultural norm to try hard. I think you're going to get that anywhere in the world too, though. It's like in high school, like it's the try hard or the know-it-all or the smart guy or the whatever, right? You just get put down because you want excellence. You want to do something big. And I don't know what the root of that is, but I know that it's real. And I know that I see it in our kids, is that there's this level of, and it is scary to be good at something because then you're exposed. And it's scary to try hard at something because then you're vulnerable. And so better to make fun of it and stay in the pack than it is to step outside of the pack. But we've made a pack of kids that all try hard. And so now they're safe. You know, they're safe again in that. And now they go to school and they know all those kids that are in the same team as them. And it creates that bond that makes it an okay thing, makes it a cool thing. You know, whatever's trending with the middle schoolers, that's when people show up, you know. It's like, if CrossFit's cool right now, they're in. And we just try to hold on to keeping it cool. And our kids will tell you, you know, what are the things that we value? We value leaving things better than you found it. People, places, and things better than you found it. And we value doing hard things. And I think if you do those two things, you express kindness and love and gentleness towards others, and you truly leave every interaction, every place, every person better than you found it. And then you continually put yourself in a place to do something challenging and hard, you'll win. You'll win. And that's the culture that we strive to create for our kids. And we're creating a team of tryhards.
I love that. And I kind of felt like during the competition, I felt like before the kids' competition, we'll probably talk more about this, but before I was like, I don't know that my kids were they seemed like they weren't looking forward to it and they didn't want to do it. But then in the competition, I feel like they were like looking at me and they were like, I'm going to work hard for you, Charissa.
Yeah.
Like, because as I was like cheering them on, they were like looking to me to be like, you got this, like keep going.
So cool.
So the kids competition, for the people that might not know, is the kids, they come in, we end up getting like 3 kids each basically that are going to be on a team together. And then on Friday, the day before the race, which again we'll talk more about, they have a competition. And like I like the way that you guys set it up. It's because so everyone has to register for the race and they have to come to this place, and then it just so happens the kids competition is right behind it. So it's like a lot of people end up coming and just watching the kids. So we meet the kids about 2 days before the competition, and then the day before we kind of do like a little like group building kind of exercise, and then the competition happened. And yeah, it was really interesting, like meeting like my kids for the first time, because you said like, oh, you might think they hate you, and I remember I was like confident. I was like, nah, man,
they're gonna love me.
And then when I first met them, they were not talking to me at all. I was like, I am the least cool person I have never felt less cool, because I was like trying
demoralizing.
I was like, what do you like to do? And I'm like, Scott. And I was like, what do you not like to do? Run. Okay. Jeez.
They really don't give you anything.
Some will, right?
These are
but
tough
like
eggs to crack.
They are terrified.
It's because they're scared though, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not scared, but they're just nervous. Like and like
nervous.
I think I was talking to you. You said like a lot of them, like in my head it's just a bunch of kids, but to them like a lot of the kids they don't actually know because they're from the different gyms. So they're like around kids. They're not super like they don't know
their
very
team,
well.
They don't know you.
Exactly.
Like, and Kauai's a little place. You know everybody.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden they're put in this environment where nothing is familiar.
Yeah,
and
that
so
would be scary.
it was like trying to talk to them, but then once we got to the actual competition, I like met up with them, I talked to them, and they were all like, they were a lot more open to talking to me, and it was really cool seeing them work so hard. Like people don't realize like when you see kids like working hard like that, to where like when you're in a CrossFit workout, you know how like when you push to it and you push so hard, you lay down afterwards. Like you think that's just people, like it's like adults being dramatic, but like when you see a kid do it, like you know that's not them
it's
just
real.
That's real, right? And like I almost got to a point where I was like, come on, you guys can do it. And I was like, I feel so bad right now because they were just like
dying.
And then it's just funny because they're still definitely kids. So like one of the younger guy on my team, he was like doing the kettlebell swings, and every 2 kettlebell swings, he'd just start looking around, and it was like it was synchronized kettlebell swings, and I'm like, Aiden,
attention,
look at me.
Eyes on me,
because I was like doing them with them, right? And he was just
Yeah.
I know.
They
And
don't
he's
want you to
literally
lose focus.
dying, just looking around.
8 years old, just doesn't know what's going on.
But then,
so good.
But they pushed themselves so hard, and then after that first workout, it was like they like trusted me. They're like, oh, okay, you'll push me hard, and like I trust you. And then like being able to see them, and then throughout the week and stuff, like Charissa got like she was telling me the first time she was like, my kids don't even want to be here. I don't know. Like they're like, and then by the end of it, she's like talking to one of her kids all the time, right?
Yeah, she ended up. I was just by the luau. I was sitting down like eating, and she came up behind me and gave me a huge like bear hug and wanted my Instagram and my phone number. So I texted her this morning too. So
cool.
I was like, oh, yeah, because
you do like
I was
me.
like, oh, you do like me, like because at the beginning I was like, oh my gosh, my group. Woo,
Here we go.
This is hard.
Yes,
like, we're talking about hard things. This is a hard thing.
It's super uncomfortable too, though, because you just like. Kids are challenging.
They are. They're very
and
challenging.
They're super challenging, but that's it. And it's so fun coming here and getting a chance to see all these like games athletes and, just like highly professional, excellent people and then get pummeled by children.
Yeah.
Like trying
gosh.
so hard to be
Pat
cool.
Vellner's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I think they hate me. Just like, what's
Just
happening?
feeling judged by an 8-year-old.
So judged. So
I
scared.
know. Being like, you're stupid adult.
I am.
I'm trying so hard. Do you watch Dragon Ball Z?
I know. I was like, what's
Have
your
you played
favorite color?
Fortnite recently? Like, come
What's
on.
your favorite food? They could care less about naming their team.
I know.
And I was like, oh gosh. Oh, and all three of them, they could not come to a consensus about the names. One girl, she just did not care whatsoever. The other two were like kind of trying to come up with names, and it was a guy and a girl, so the names were just completely opposite ends of the spectrum. And I was just like, oh boy.
I'll tell you what. When you coach a class and you kind of just like enjoy the suffering a little bit.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the discomfort of you guys.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Because you're
my
like,
gosh.
like I'm the guy.
prepped you
I
for
was
it.
the guy that was
Yeah.
like, I'll be fine, and then you're
Yeah.
like, okay,
You'll be fine.
You have no
You have
idea.
no clue what's coming down.
There's
pipe.
like it's this like vulnerability. It's like there's like you. I don't even know how to explain it. It was just so like visceral and just like I am trying and I am failing.
I'm getting nowhere.
So
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But what you don't realize is that the effort they see.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they don't detach. Like, I'm going to push on that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're so funny. I had someone give me a metaphor for coaching kids. Because when I first started, I mean, they're like feral children, right? Like, we've whipped them into shape over some years of like creating a culture, creating consistency, relentlessly consistent in the way we do things. But at first, like, what's the first thing when you sit down on a roller coaster and the thing comes on your lap? You check it.
Yep.
Make sure it's there.
Am I gonna fall out of this thing?
That's
Yeah.
like rules with kids. Is like you put the rule on them, and the first thing that they're going to do is be like, "Do you mean it? Like, are you sure?" Like they'll pull on it, they'll push you. Like, do you really care? Do you really care about me? Do you want to engage with me? Do you want to know me? And then you keep trying and you keep trying and you keep showing up and you feel really uncomfortable and really weird and like I'm in high school again. Like just that feeling of like I'm not liked,
so
I'm at the wrong
awkward,
table.
Yep.
You know, that whole feeling.
Yeah.
And then eventually they realize that you mean it. And then they fall in love with you.
Yeah.
And it's special
So special.
because you earned it.
And I was just so impressed by them too. Like, because my kids just like out of the gate, they were running so fast. I was like, oh my gosh, like you guys are killing it. So it was so fun, to see them working so hard.
They're all breathing hard at the start line because they're so
Pacing
nervous.
was an issue. I tried to help, but I was just like, slow down, guys. Like, come on, breathe. Put the weight down. Put it down. They just want to keep holding on. Like, put it down. Take a deep breath. And they're like,
So good.
let's keep going.
One of the best parts is watching all of the coaches doing the moves with
Yeah, it was just
miming the moves. There was plate ground to overhead, and all the coaches were like,
Oh yeah, that's literally what I was
what I
doing
the entire time,
Every single,
just doing the
it's to
moves.
keep them synchro. Like you got to.
No, the
Like,
kettlebell swings were weird and so fun. Looking for mom in the crowd. Just
Yes, that's what they were doing.
Where's my mom?
It's like you said, don't really no rep them. So I would once we started getting a funk, I'd be like, stop.
Wait.
Just wait. Or like the burpees, they'd always just when they get on the ground, they just wanted to give up.
Yeah.
Stay. Wait for Jacob. Like wait for him to get on the ground. But
So
it was so much fun, and I mean we could talk about that forever. But I want to talk about so the trail run is kind of part of the foundation. It's
Can we backtrack for 1 second?
Okay, go
You
for
guys
it.
prepare the kids way in advance for this kids competition too.
Yeah.
The kids are worked up to the competition.
Yeah.
Like you guys practice the movements
yeah,
and like
yeah.
slowly introduce like the movements. So it's not like we're throwing them into just a competition.
Crazy.
Like
Yeah,
how
of
where
course. Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
been like prepared. It's kind of like training
No, they're
for the
hand
games.
selected.
Or
There's 400
Yeah.
kids, and we pick 75 of them, and they earn it. throughout
Yeah.
the year. Yeah.
They're just
Thrown into the
like
fire.
There you go.
All the they were even doing, even as we got here, like 2 days before the competition, they were doing some of the movements for the workouts
Getting
that they were
ready.
doing.
Yep.
We actually ended up doing a workout today that was from the competition, and it was not
was
easy.
so hard.
With more weight. It was very difficult. But so talking about like the trail run, that's why a lot of people kind of come. That's like a big kind of event, right? So that's basically a big fundraiser for the foundation, correct?
Yes, it's our primary fundraiser every year.
And so for those of you that don't know, was there 4 different races? Was
Three
there like
this year.
There was 3.
Three.
So there was a 5K.
Well, 4 events, 3 courses.
Okay, yeah. So there was a team 5K, right?
Yes.
And then a 5K easy, 5K like hard one.
Love the quotes because
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5K easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Just like you
that's-
called it the 10K-ish.
The 10K.
Yeah. And then there was a 10K
Yeah.
that was actually 12.7K or something like that.
Yes, we round up.
It was
7.7
miles.
Yeah, it
I
was
think,
something like that. It was
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Everything's
so
fine.
much. I'm good.
But this run, it's obviously a huge fundraiser, and a lot of people do it. But like, so me and Charissa did it this year. The 10K is not easy, and like it was a run for the first 2 miles, and then the rest of it was like a don't fall. Is how I felt like it was.
A lot of hiking.
For me, it was a hike,
scrambling,
It
grabbing
was,
on
for me, it was
vines.
mainly fall, but just don't hurt yourself.
Yes.
Because it was like,
Yes.
it's like, it's on someone's private land, right? So it's not like it's these trails that are used all the time, and it was honestly one of the hardest things I think I've ever done. It
Wow.
was fun. Like, so I did the marathon not super long ago. I had some issues there. It was very hard.
Yeah.
This is probably like right under that.
So
Like,
challenging.
it was tough. It was tough.
It's really challenging. It's private property, so like the Knutson Trust and A&B Properties, they're landowners on Kauai. They gift us the property to be able to use for this event. And the Garden Island Motorcycle Club, it's 75-year legacy motorcycle club on the island, and they cut the trail for the motorcycle riders, and so they help us cut the trail every year for the event. But it's through just like gnarly jungle terrain. Really gnarly.
Literally, because I was like running through and I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know if this is forest or jungle.
Yeah,
This
it
literally
was-
feels like jungle to me.
You go through
There's
pieces
a few
of like
piece of
pine,
forest, yeah,
and then eucalyptus, and
And
then
then
it's
there's vines
full
hanging down.
jungle,
Yeah.
and just like guava trees and awa ahapui and like rivers and just all kinds of crazy stuff.
It was like, truly, if you're someone that likes trail running or running at all, this is something you
and
need
doing
to do.
hard things.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, no, for real.
Yeah.
It is so unbelievably like rewarding when you finish, except for they put a 80-pound sandbag on you and make you walk a half mile. When that happened, I was like, oh.
We
So I
don't
saw-
know if it was 80 pounds.
Yeah.
It was 3 scoops.
Okay. It was
Three
it was heavy-
shovelfuls
it was
of sand.
Heavy enough, right? And so like we get to the close to the end,
Yeah.
and I had heard people talk about, there's a sandbag park. I was like, okay, it's probably not
No
gonna be
big
that
deal.
long. And then I saw like the sandbags, and I saw people like kind of walking them up, and then I saw them setting them down. I was like, oh, it's probably not that far.
Right.
So I start walking, and then I realized it just zigzag,
Yep,
zig,
just
zag,
cutbacks
zig,
the
zag.
whole
It ends up being
time.
like a half mile, and I just remember walking. I was like, this is so dumb. I'm so over this.
Okay,
Like,
the sandbag station is my favorite part.
dude,
because people
it's a
come,
gut check.
I put, when we schedule our volunteers throughout the whole thing, we got to put the tough ones at the sandbag spot.
Oh yeah.
Because they're like kind of mean looking ones,
Yeah,
you know?
because
so they
people will
come
be
out-
like, I'm not taking
No,
that.
no,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not, I don't want any part of that. And they're like, they
you
just
don't-
stand there. My favorite, one of our volunteers, she's her name's Myrna. She's a member at the gym, and she would literally like put her body in front of
You
people
will
to
not
keep them
move.
from going up without a sandbag. She'd just like shuffle
That's
in
so
front of them.
good.
Take your sandbag.
Uh-huh.
And it's definitely a gut check.
Yeah.
At that point, it's tough.
It was really tough. I remember we were climbing up the section that with the super steep, you're just looking up like, oh my word. I like stopped before it and I was like, I'm already dying. All
And
right,
like there's
let's do
like
this.
ropes, right?
There's
So this
ropes
it's
to
like
help you
steep,
get up.
steep.
Yeah, you got to use it to get up there.
And as we were like going up, James Newbury was like, you guys, like, remember, like, this is to like show the kids that like we don't avoid hard things. And I was like, all right,
That's
let's
so
go.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's do
that's
it.
so good.
And so I was
That
like,
makes me
yes.
so proud.
Yeah, I was like, this is why
Oh,
we're
that's
doing
cool.
it. It's not just
That is so cool.
like
So
it's
I'm-
a race.
I'm
with
sitting here
purpose.
saying how hard this was, and I was wearing trail running shoes. You know,
Yeah.
I was like ready for this. I was getting passed up by kids barefoot,
Barefoot.
just crushing
They own it.
Yeah.
And
They own it.
I can't relate to that at all. Like, I'm like one of those people that if I don't have shoes on, like I have to like tiptoe on things because I have little baby feet.
I get that.
They are not meant for that at all.
They're rugged, the kids.
Yeah, they're it's I mean, it's a completely different culture. It's like it's very, very interesting. So like the run, so a lot of people will do fundraising, and then so it's pretty. Is all of the funds that are raised, is it 100% goes to the foundation?
Yeah, 100% of the funds raised for the event through sponsorship, donors, fundraising, it all goes to our programs, to the Keala Foundation. Yeah.
And then so with the program, so the kids, they come to, so like if you could kind of explain what a day in the life of maybe like one of the kids that's in the program is, like what would that look like?
Our coaches go and drive. We have 8 different schools we do pickups from all over the island. So the coaches drive and we wait outside till school gets out. Kids run to the vans. They pile in. We drive them to the gym. When they get here, we hang out for 15 minutes, wait for the other vans to roll up. We call whiteboard, and everybody runs from outside wherever they're at, meets to the whiteboard, sit down. We talk about events, any announcements, like a normal class, and then you run them through expectations, workout of the day. They do a hard workout, and then they get fed a healthy, nutritious meal. We talk about nutrition, talk about protein, fat, carbohydrates, all that kind of good stuff. And then we leave the gym better than we found it. They clean up, they put everything away, whatever needs to get done in the gym, and then we pile in the vans and drive them home to their individual houses.
So how long are they here for?
They get out of school at 2, and they're usually home by 5:30, so 3 hours, 3.5 hours with us every day. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's Monday through, is it Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday. Fridays are surf club. So Monday through Thursday, they're in the gym. Every day there's CrossFit on those 4 days, and there's jiu-jitsu every night of those as well. So they could do both. Some kids do both.
Wow.
They come here, take CrossFit, and then there's adult classes that happen after. Kids are welcome to join the adult classes because our CrossFit Kids coaches are the same as our adult coaches, so they're really good at scaling anything that's needed for those classes. But then they just stay because jiu-jitsu's right after, so sometimes we'll have kids here for 8 hours.
8 hours, yeah.
Yeah,
And
just
so
around.
the classes, everything is free for the kids.
100% free for kids. We've set ourselves on keeping the barrier to entry as low as possible for kids to come and be a part of our community. And that's something from the very beginning that we don't change. Kids run in the race for free. Kids eat at the luau for free. Kids, they can join our programs entirely free because that should not be a limiting factor for participation.
How do kids get involved in the program? So
purely word of mouth.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I asked a bunch of the kids. They're like, "How did you hear about it?" They're like, "My friend."
Yeah, my friend.
Every single person in my group, my friend.
Keeps it really organic, and honestly, it saves us because if we advertised,
right? Yeah.
Another cost.
Another cost, but also I think we'd be too big.
Yeah.
At least we're running 70 kids in a class sometimes. And that's a lot of kids.
Oof.
With
Y'all are
how many
beasts.
you guys have?
Nuts.
Were you guys up to 15 employees now or something like that? You were
Just
saying,
over
right?
20.
Okay.
Yeah, just over 20. And that's a myriad of things. Some are heavily part-time, some are full-time, kids, adults, because we run 3 affiliates as well. So they're nonprofit affiliates, and that any membership paid goes straight back to support the program. So it all funds the same thing, the same machine, but they're still affiliates, right? So we still have, gym managers, people cleaning the floors, like all the normal affiliate needs are being met. But at the same time, we also have this huge chunk of the day allocated to kids. It's cool.
So Charissa had this question that I'm going to steal from her.
Rude.
At least she gave credit.
Yeah.
At least she gave credit.
She would have taken it if I wouldn't have said it. But like, what have you found is like the hardest thing, like doing what you're doing with the foundation? What would you say is like maybe the easiest or most rewarding thing?
Yeah.
Easiest, kids. I mean, that hour is the best hour of everyone's day. You talk about coaching people, like make it the best hour of their day. Well, they make it the best hour of our day. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I want to pull my hair out. And we want to just sometimes we look at each other across the room and like, oh,
why do we do this?
Why? It's usually like after holidays or breaks or days off from, like vacation. And then you come back and the kids are just like, but that's easily the best part because it's the point. It's the why, and you get to see the fruit of it right in front of you and connect with them and just love them. And there's something special about being loved by kids.
Yeah.
Some really makes you feel good.
real.
Yeah.
Makes you feel
Yeah,
good.
when a kid loves you.
I know. When they know your name and they run,
Yeah.
and they give you a big hug.
There's like you feel like there's no ulterior motive to it.
No, they just love you. Like they're not getting anything out of that.
They don't care how many Instagram followers you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, we
they're
talked
not
about
trying
that.
to-
Literally, like all these like famous, awesome people are here, and they have no clue who you are.
Yeah.
No clue
Yeah.
whatsoever. They just care if you care.
Yep.
That's it. The hardest part is just it's business. It's a business, you know, and a nonprofit is just a business, but in some ways harder because you don't have consistent revenue. And the things that challenge me the most are the same things that challenge any business owner. Just infrastructure, processes, procedures, systems, things like that are hard to develop, and they're hard to develop here, you know, on Kauai, and it's challenging. So those things are tough. It's the business side that's the most difficult, but the best part is the kids, for sure. Yeah.
And so one of the owners of Ramwad, Ryan, he's one of the guys that was able to bring us here.
So cool.
He's talked a lot. I mean, he has a huge heart for this. You know, I'm almost certain if he didn't feel as like deep down as he did about this, like we probably wouldn't be here. You know, because he's just willing to
a tremendous amount.
Absolutely, right? And he said that one of the harder things for you guys. When it comes to maybe trying to raise funds is like when people come here that are maybe like influencers or famous celebrity people or whatever, it's you want to make sure that they are like, I'm not here for a vacation. Like there's real stuff that goes on this island. Yeah. Yes, it is one of, like, for me, it is the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life, without a doubt.
Hands down.
And it's hard for me not to want to only showcase that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, people are like, oh, that's so pretty. You know, you see a waterfall that's like literally the prettiest thing I've ever seen. It's like, that's what I want to show. You know, that's what I want to put on my story. And so, like, for me, I've really tried to make a concerted effort to, like, obviously post that stuff a little bit, but, like, really show, like, I'm here because I want to help out this foundation. I'm here because I want to help out these kids.
Yeah.
Like, has that been kind of hard just in the fundraising world for other people being like,
absolutely,
it's Hawaii. I should give my money to XYZ instead of this, you know? Has that been kind of difficult?
Definitely. There's perception, you know, that Hawaii is beautiful, and the saying is Hawaii is beautiful until you look under the rug. There's a whole thing that happens under here no one wants to look at, and that is not unique to Hawaii. It's not unique to Kauai. The truth's hard. It's really painful, and looking at it, you want to look away. You don't want to look at it. You know, you don't want to look at suffering and depression and anxiety and suicide and drugs and homelessness and theft and crime. All those things are ugly, and it's really hard to see that juxtaposed against something so beautiful as Hawaii. You know, it's gorgeous. You have the world at your fingertips, and why wouldn't you be so alive living here? But suffering is a human condition, and it's everywhere. And what magnifies that feeling here is that, why should I be suffering?
Exactly.
Now there's shame. Right? You enter shame into the picture because I shouldn't be. There's everything here, and now there's that whole other level of alone that gets put on top of it. So it's hard to explain to people until they experience it. And I think most people connect to nonprofits through experience. Yep. Having a similar story or a similar experience in their life, or they saw it firsthand, or they met someone who was so moved by it, that's what inspires giving. Right, and we know that, like, gratitude inspires giving. That generosity comes from a place of connection. And so you don't ever, and I don't expect anybody to get it till they know, you know, till they've seen it, they've felt it, they've touched it, and they feel it to be trustworthy. And that's a big piece. So you can tell a story all you want, but even Coach Glassman in CrossFit, you know, the best way to figure out what CrossFit is come take a class. Yep. And once you feel it, you know it, you were in it, you get it. You get it in a different way that you would, I thought it was this, and this is what it actually is. And so the run is that, you know, our foundation is that, it's difficult, but at the same time it's really rewarding because when people do understand, they stay around. You know, they stick around.
That's us. We were supposed to leave. We were already supposed to be on a plane like 3 hours ago.
I know.
And we stayed a little bit
I felt
longer.
like you're supposed to be leaving already. Here you are. It's tough to go. I mean, every year. That's what got me. I moved here. You know, and we have 2 other people that did the same thing. They moved here. We got another one just on the way, and I'm like angling to get a couple more from the event this year, you know? Because such incredible people come here for this event with I mean, you're wearing the Give hat. You've got the Give on your shirt. You've got all the swag. But what we claim as a foundation is that to give is to serve, and we choose to serve wholeheartedly. That's the one foundational, value that we all have, and we serve wholeheartedly. And it's something that every person who comes here for this event shares. It's so cool. It's incredible. Like attracts like.
Yeah.
And that it's oil and water. You get it or you don't.
Yep.
And I'm not going to hold it against you because it's just not for you. And that's okay. But there's just something really beautiful about the gravity of this event. And that people who come here, they're enamored by it and they fall in love with it and they get stuck.
And I think what's another thing that's really cool about the event is just that's all great, but the fact is the event is awesome as well. So it's not like, oh, I'm doing this and it was kind of it was kind of cool, but it's like I did it for a good cause, so I'm happy about it. It's like this was like for me it was one of the craziest things I had ever done in my entire life.
Yeah.
And one of the most beautiful, one of the toughest, like I'm very glad that I was able to finish it. So it's like all that thing is rolled into, and it was for such a great cause. It's like there's no losing. It's like win, 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 win.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what makes it such a crazy, awesome event for such a crazy, awesome like foundation. It's just a really awesome time altogether. And so we're just so thankful to be a part of it.
So cool.
I kind of wanted to talk about when you were saying, you know, the suicide rates and all of that stuff, like it comes from people feeling like I'm in Hawaii, I should be happy. Like I should feel like this is one of the most beautiful places in the world. Like I connect that with, like for me, you know, my weight loss story. I always tell people like you can't think losing weight is going to be this silver bullet that's going to solve everything, because you're going to lose the weight. Like there was a meme that I saw a long time ago that it was like two pictures, and it was like a cartoon of a really overweight woman, and then she had lost weight. The first one says, "I'm not happy." And then she had lost weight and it said, "Oh wait, that wasn't it." And it's like you can't expect outside things to fix everything for you. And so like it might like that might be where you live, right? People in Hawaii might think, well, I should be happy, so I'm not. And then like you said, it brings in that shame.
Yeah.
And so like I think there's definitely things like I know that me and Charissa are believers, you know, like that one of the things that you could put there is like, you know, having a relationship with God.
Yeah.
And like that filling up your cup, you know, and like not putting everything in your fitness, which is very easy when you're very into it, you know, like I'm a fitness person and so everything's about that. Or like if you're, you know, from Hawaii, it's like I'm a Hawaiian person and like everything should be great all the time. Like there are other things to put that in, and I think that's really important. And I think like showing that to the kids as well, you know, and like showing like, hey, it's okay to maybe be sad. It's okay to be struggling in a workout. You know what I mean? And like it's okay to struggle, but guess what? Look you lived another day, and now you're going to come back tomorrow and be stronger, right? I think that's so unbelievably important.
There's a saying in AA and sobriety that says, wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
And that's so true for those things, is that you could change everything about yourself. You can change everything about your circumstances, but no matter what, there you are. And so it starts in here first. And I think that's true. You could replace, you know, drugs with food. You could replace with fitness, with macros, with whatever you want to do and worship in that moment. You know, whatever is going to try to fill that cup. But it's just like drilling a hole in the boat. You know, you're dumping water out, but you got to drill in one hand, making another hole, and you're trying not to sink the ship at the same time. And so it's so important for us to make sure that these kids understand this is not about fitness.
Yeah,
it's not
I love
about
that.
CrossFit. It's about the power held in community. It's about lifting each other up. It's about handing the tool that you don't need anymore to someone else and making sure that we have the ability to be able to build a community for each other that is going to stand the test of time, and that, you know, that we love each other first and foremost always. And I think it's hard to put your finger on why depression is, you know, why anxiety is, why suicide is, why we choose addiction, why we choose drugs. Well, I mean, I get it at the end of the day, because being here is hard. Being present is difficult.
Yeah,
I'd rather eat a pack of Oreos, you
Yeah.
know, but then
Every
what?
day. Yeah.
But then what?
Yeah.
You know, then they're gone, and
Yep.
what's next? And I'm back to me feeling worse than I did before. And the same is true for drugs, but it's that feeling of, how do I fix this right now? And there is no superficial fix. There's no Band-Aid for the problem. And the promise is that it's going to be hard forever.
Yeah, there will be
It's
trouble.
just, there will be trouble, but take heart, I've overcome the world. And so I'm with you in that. Jesus is the solution for me and to fill my cup. And we want that for these kids too, but at the same time, we start by the Trojan horse. You know, we wrap it. I love that. I love that. We wrap it in fitness and all these other things and make it palatable, but with a hope that they will understand there's more. There's more, and it's going to be hard. No adult should tell you that it's going to be easy. because they're a liar,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but
They're usually trying to sell you something.
they're selling you something.
That's what I've found.
You know,
if they're telling you it's easy, they're selling you something.
and is it worth doing if it's easy? It's
No.
not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not. Running this foundation is the hardest thing I've ever done, and I don't think it's ever going to be easy. And that's the thing about it is I love doing hard things. And I love hard work, and I love effort, and I love the results that come from those things. And when I was competing in CrossFit, I realized after I was done with competition that I didn't care about CrossFit. I care about trying hard, and that just happened to be the thing that I liked to try hard at. And that that's what these kids are learning about. Not that my way is the only way or the best way to do things, but it's that void that you feel like you want to use that for. Why not let's put something that's going to bring life, not death.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's rewarding to see.
I was going to say it's impactful and purposeful work that's worth it, even though it is, I'm sure, so incredibly hard.
It's hard, but it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, so if somebody, is listening to the podcast, they're like, I'm interested in helping out, whether that's donating, maybe even getting merch or something, doing the trail run next year.
Yes.
How can they
get involved?
A few ways. If you're interested in the trail run, I mean, all things lead back to the Keala Foundation, but you can go to ultimatehawaiiantrailrun.com. You can donate through there, ultimatehawaiiantrailrun.com/give. You can register through the race next year. It'll open in spring, so they can register at that time. If you want to donate to the foundation, you can go to KealaFoundation.com/give. More information is available on our website, so people can get involved, learn about a little bit more about what we do, and donate your time or your resources or whatever you've got to make it work.
And so if they want to go to the website, so it's KEALA foundation.com.
Yes.
And then they'll find the give place.
Yes, absolutely. Easy enough to find.
Awesome. Well, we hope that you guys do that. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. This was a really fun conversation.
So good. I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks so much.